I wanted to get on today and talk about a build that I've made here in Minecraft, um, which is this greenhouse. And I wanted to kind of walk you through the process that I went through in my brain when building. So far, it's only the exterior. It's not totally done either, um, but I wanted to walk you through a bit of the process that I've used when building it, and some of the thoughts I've had, and maybe help give a bit of insight on inspiration when it comes to Minecraft building. So, the first thing I want to preface is this is not my normal Minecraft building style. And I've been playing this game a long time, and I think that I'm not even 100% sure if I have a real building style. Um, I've done a lot over the years of being inspired by different different YouTubers, builders, survival bases, creative builds, all these different styles and just different um, building styles and building patterns. I've been inspired a lot by a lot of different people, and I've made builds to try to find my style, but it's a bit hard. So I wanted to talk a little bit. I think I learned something in the process of building this, and I wanted to talk a bit about it today with you. Um, so the the first thing that I wanted to talk about was um, this build style that I tried to replicate here, and I don't think I did a perfect job, so it may not be obvious, but maybe you could see some of it. But the build style that I tried to replicate was of a YouTuber called B00 100. Um, he's pretty popular, but he lately in the last couple of years has really leaned hard into the style of um, I don't know how you would call it, if it's like realism or um, just very, very detailed building. Um, in real life, when you build a building, even if it's all made out of quote unquote the same material, concrete, bricks, whatever, it, different pieces of it look slightly different. Wood paneled flooring. There are going to be some imperfections in the flooring, some different colors. Um, that when you look at it up close, um, they may clash and conflict a bit. Um, but when you look at it from far away, they blend together. It gives a very subtle change in hues and textures, and can look somewhat realistic. Um, so again, B is a tremendously inspiring YouTuber, and everything he builds just I really appreciate everything that he has built in Minecraft and shared with us on YouTube, and it really inspires me to want to build um, things like it for myself. Um, Now I really try to pride myself on not um, just copying, right, and uh, taking someone's build or even their build style and just trying to make it replace it in my world. Um, so a lot of times that would lead to me not really knowing what to do, and when it comes to like my own building, because you go and try to make your own building without taking styles of anyone else, then unless you're just a really really creative person, um, which sometimes I can be, but sometimes it takes me a little bit longer. Um, I'm not always the most creative right on top of my head. Sometimes I need to let things get flowing, and then it gets better. But anyway, if you're not the most creative person, trying to come up with your own style is really really difficult. Um, So I decided on this build, um, and this, I think I mentioned earlier, is supposed to be a greenhouse. So, like I said, haven't got around to the interior yet. When I do that, there will be a lot of more detail and a lot of plant life in here. And I think the my intention is to create a downstairs area as well, and there's going to be um, a couple of specific farms down there, but haven't got around to it yet. Um, when I do, um, well, sorry, that's not what I meant to say. Um, Plain and simple, I'm not done with it, but sorry, I don't know. I've lost my train of thought there. Anyway, I decided with this build that it's based off of BOO 100. It's based off of his greenhouse in his single player world. The series is called Building with B-Dubs, and I was just watching an episode, and I don't think I watched the original episode when he built the greenhouse, but I watched a new recent episode where he went inside and he had replaced some of the small details in the build, iron bars, and lanterns and chains, things like that that we've just gotten copper variants for. He went inside and replaced some of those metal pieces with the new copper variants, and seeing that build um, really, really inspired me. And I've seen that build on the outside before. I've seen him walk past it, and it doesn't look like much. It's a big building, but he has a ton of very high detailed big buildings all in that area, and it kind of blends. So don't really notice it that much from the outside, but when he went inside, the level of detail was was really just amazing. And I decided that, I wanted to build something similar. And I have that kind of feeling all the time, and I'm sure you do too, where you watch someone that's built something really, really, really cool, really awe-inspiring. You see it and you're like, I want to build something like that. And when you think of quote unquote building something like that, you a lot of times you're just thinking of, I want that in my world. Um, but then you have a little bit of the weird feeling. It's like if you completely replicate it block by block, um, then you might lose some satisfaction in the long run. You look at it at first and you're like, wow, it looks really good, but then a week later you're like, you don't care about it as much anymore. Um, the other thing is if you look at that build, um, like I said, if you think you want something like that in your world, a lot of times you just mean you want that. So most of the time when I have that feeling, oh, I want something like that in my world, I usually drift away from the idea and think, no, I'm just feeling inspired because I saw that specific thing on YouTube, on a video, on a screenshot, whatever. But I need to go build my own thing so I can be happy with the things that I've built, um, which I still hold true. I think that you will get more satisfaction from the things that you create on your own, um, and as much on your own as you can, than you do out of um, taking heavy inspiration, even light inspiration, but for sure copying straight up builds and styles. Um, but in this case, I decided, I've thought about this kind of thing for too long that um, I see builds that I really like, and I really want to replicate them or have something like that in my world. I decided with this one, I was like, you know what? I've loved B-Dub's building style for so long. I've never tried to do it specifically on my own. This time, I want to try to just replicate a building in this game that um, was as if BWO came into my world and placed these blocks himself, you know. And of course, I'm not him, so everything would be everything is slightly different. Um, you know, he has more practice with this and more knowledge and just more artistic gift. Um, but I wanted to try to put myself into his shoes and say, this is what you know, this is how I would build it if I was thinking in the brain of BWO. Um, and what I learned from doing that is that um, I still ended up having some interesting ideas of my own. I still had to do a lot of thinking and planning, and my creativity still got flowing while I was building this um, exterior. And I have ideas that I feel like are good for the remaining interior and bottom floor that still need to be worked on. I feel pretty happy about what I've done here, and I don't feel like it's a carbon copy of what someone else would do. And you know, it's actually pretty hard to make carbon copies in Minecraft because you know this. I mean, I have no idea how many blocks I've placed on this build, but even something that's you know not so huge like this has got to be thousand or a couple thousand blocks, right? And um, that's a lot of blocks and a lot of detail to make things different from what someone else would do. You know, each small detail that you take in a different direction of someone else is a way that you make things your own. And um, like I said, I really feel like the more I worked on this, the less I started thinking about what B Dubs would do, and more started thinking about what I would like to do here. Um, and I feel like I've ended up with something that's okay with me. Where's my ghast? I wanted to get an aerial view. He doesn't have a saddle. um, I I'm pretty happy with the build, and here's what I was talking about viewing from far away. I feel like it looks even better from far away. Um, yeah, I think it looks nice. Anyway, I think the whole point of the video and you know what I learned from building this is that um, to find your own style of building, it's okay, and in some cases, it's necessary to start with someone else's style and find the pieces of that style that you like. You know, if you look at a Minecraft build that you saw somewhere and you think, I really like that and I would like to have that in my world, that means that you like that style and that you would want to be able to build something similar. It doesn't mean that you want all of your builds in your world to look like that, but it means you want to have your style or to be able to build something similar to that. So I think the more things that you see on the internet that you like and that you would like to have in your world, my advice is to try to build them and try to um, you start with as much inspiration taken from that project if that you need. You know, if you feel like you're really not creative and you really need um, like you almost need to just copy a build block by block, start by doing that. Um, do that first. Find the patterns in the build, or the lack of patterns, or the textures, the colors, the palette, whatever. Find something about the build the first time that you do it, even if it's a straight up copy. Find something about that build that you can take inspiration from and try the next time that you want to build something. Try to take try to take more creative liberty um, when you build that. So if the first time I copied B-Dub's greenhouse 1-to-1 scale, the next time I'll look at it and I'll think, okay, I want to build something similar size, shape, similar block choices, but instead of building it 1-to-1, I'm going to go on my own and just kind of map out the shape a little more loosely, and try to tie in the pieces together. And that's kind of the step I took right here. I followed a lot of the styles, but um, I built the shape on my own, and as I got going, um, the farther I got into the build, the more I felt like I could control what I wanted to do here, and that I was starting to develop new ideas. Um, So, as with every skill in the world, any kind of skill, whether it's artistic, athletic, intellectual, anything like that, any kind of skill, it goes without saying, the more you do it, the better you're going to get at it. And I think that's where a lot of people get discouraged, in Minecraft, but also just in any aspect of real life. But in this case, we'll talk about Minecraft. A lot of people get discouraged when you see a build by someone like BWO. Um, you see a build like that, that's just like, as I said earlier, awe-inspiring, and beautiful. You see those kind of epic creations, and you think, I want to try that for myself. And the first time you try it, your build looks really ugly, or it just doesn't hit you with the same kind of um, feelings that you get when you look at someone else doing it. So when you have that experience, you try to build something on your own, and you're really unhappy with how it turned out. Um, a lot of people want to give up uh, on their build at that point, and say, well, I'm just not a builder. It doesn't happen naturally for me. Um, and you may not be the most natural builder in the world, and for some people it may take more practice than others. But as with any skill in the world, I think you can reach a point where you get better. Um, your skill ceiling may be lower than someone else's, or your natural ability um, to look at something and turn it into art may be slightly lower than BWO. I think he has a natural gift where he can turn anything into art. But in the same token, he's played Minecraft for 15 years, and done it on YouTube, making content, making videos. And um, that's what a lot of people don't understand, is that he has gone through probably like hundreds of times of uh, the experience and repetitions of trying to build something than even I have, and I've played for 12 years, just less consistently, and especially the average person who's plays on and off once a year. You know, Point is, start where you need to start, build, take inspiration from builds, and the more that you do it, if you stick with it, the more you do it, you will start to find your creative um, styles, and you will hone your skills into your own style. So like I said before, this was me trying to rip off B000100, and I'll make some more builds where I try to rip off other people, take off. I will take styles and aspects from each of their creations that I like for myself, and try to turn that eventually into my own style. And maybe one day I'll be able to just sit down and build something just straight off my own thoughts that is, um, what I would call my building style. So I think that's all I wanted to share for today. Um, by the way, the copper in here, none of it is supposed to be orange. It will. I just placed it. It was all orange when I placed it, but it's supposed to turn into um, either this green or that shade. I'll keep some of it. Um, I'll keep it different colors, but I want to get it away from the orange mostly. Definitely not this bright orange. So if your eyes are burning looking at that, don't worry about it for now. That's what I wanted to share. In short, don't hold yourself back from taking inspiration from others with the fear that it will look like copying, and especially if it's just self judgment. That was like, this is a realm that I play with my brother, and me and him are the only people that play on it. I don't I don't often um, make YouTube videos or anything like that to showcase my builds. This is a specific instance where I'm trying to turn it into a lesson. Um, so why was I so worried about copying someone else's build style when it's just me and my brother that would see it? Or even if I did it on a single player world, then it would just be me that sees it. Why am I worried about it? It's because I have this um, self reflection where I don't know. It's like you hold yourself to this some kind of standard of like, I want to do things the right way. I want to. I don't want to take cheap, easy ways out. I want to go through the process all on my own, and um, anything like that. I have that in a lot of different aspects of my life, and I'm trying to let go of those things, because I think it's actually harmful to creativity and your um, enjoyment of playing video games. So I'm trying to learn to enjoy video games as I once did before. I still enjoy video games a lot. Um, I'm trying to make it less taxing to think about what to do, and just have fun doing things. Um, anyway, I will stop rambling now. So hopefully soon, my plan is to come back with another video showcasing the interior once I finish with it. Um, and I don't think I'll have a lesson to teach in that video, so hopefully that can be just a short video to display the interior. And I'm telling you that now to keep myself accountable, because a lot of times when I get to this point of a build where I see a slight doorway to tell myself it's done, um, then I abandon it. So I want to finish this, and I want to show it again, um, but no promises. So anyway, thanks for listening. If you did, I hope that you may be able to take some advice from what I shared, and I hope that you all have a good day and a happy Halloween.